I have been toing and froing with regard to whether I should make this video for the previous few days since Jose Mourinho was sacked by Roma. And one of the reasons why I've been sort of toing and froing is because unfortunately there are consequences to having conversations like this. Society is dying, it's collapsing, and it's not for the reasons that people usually put forth to explain such a phenomena. And look, we can see that society is collapsing, whether we can agree on the cause or not. We can all see that it's occurring. When you drive down the street, there are potholes in the road that have been there for years. And the council come out, and instead of filling the potholes in, they'll draw a yellow circle around it so that you can see it and try to avoid it. The money that you pay in tax that comes out of your pay packet every week or every month, whatever it might be, it doesn't seem to be reinvested in your local area. Buildings are degrading, schools, education standards have fallen through the ground, and we're now at a point where my generation of children who were very, very poorly educated are now better educated than the kids who are currently going through the school system. You go to the doctors to make an appointment, and the best that they can do, if you're lucky, is to give you an appointment that's 2 weeks down the line. You try to make an appointment at a dentist, and there's very few that will that offer NHS appointments. You go to the emergency room, and you could be sitting there for the rest of the day waiting to be seen. We can see this when we go into the local shop and your money doesn't buy anything anymore. That when I was a kid, I remember the working class parents who would be able to fill up their trolley with probably a £70 expenditure. And now sort of I'm living on a lifestyle of probably around £70 a week in terms of my food bill, and it buys me nothing. I'm going to read out a receipt of goods that I bought the other day at my local supermarket, and I want you to try to estimate how much you think that this would have cost me. So I bought 4 pints of milk, I bought 1 kilogram of sugar, I bought 90 grams of Nescafe coffee, I bought 550 grams of mature cheddar, and I bought 2 lint roller refills. And I want you to bear in mind as well that I bought these things from Tesco, and I used my club card, which gave me some discount, and the discount was £4.30. And I also want you to consider that I'm not paying London prices for these. I'm from the Midlands, so I'm not paying like top dollar for this. I'm paying sort of probably what's average for the UK. So I paid £14.05 for that stuff. And without the discounts, I would have paid £18.35 for that stuff. So I bought nearly £20 worth of goods, and I left with nothing. Your money doesn't buy anything anymore. And how badly this economic and societal issue is that I genuinely left that shop thinking I might have to start nicking soon just so I can afford to eat, which is not something that I've ever thought in my life. I might have to start nicking soon. That's how badly that society is degraded, and where it goes, where it continues to go, how badly it falls down, I have no idea. I've heard predictions from several sources suggesting that we're kind of going through the worst of it now, and I've also heard that opinions that basically we're going to go back to like a feudal age kind of societal level, where there's probably not any electricity or heat and there's no food on the shelves. So depending on sort of who you believe, who you choose to listen to, things could either remain as they are or get a hell of a lot worse over the course of the next 10 to 15 years. And another way that society has fallen down, another symptom of this, is in the workplace. No longer is it important for you to be talented, able, and hardworking. Those were the three sort of tenets that kind of our Western liberal capitalist society was built upon. But now what's more important is, what do you think and how do you behave? What do you say? And most importantly, who can hear you saying it? And I think that Jose Mourinho's career over the previous 10 to 12 years is a big reflection of this. Because look, Jose Mourinho, pre that second Chelsea spell, nobody would deny that he was probably the best manager in the world. Definitely top 2, and certainly top 3. He'd been at Porto and won everything with Porto. He then went to Chelsea and won everything but the Champions League with Chelsea. Then he went off to Inter Milan and he won everything with Inter Milan. And then he went off to Real Madrid and he won everything with Real Madrid except for the Champions League. And then he goes back to Chelsea. It's kind of a coming home party. Yay, Jose is back in the Premier League. And things fell apart for him. And when did things fall apart for him? Well, things fell apart for him when he called out the female physiotherapist for attempting to go on the pitch and treat, I believe it was Eden Hazard, who Jose Mourinho at the time felt that he was just trying to waste time on the pitch, right? Because they were coming towards the end of the game. I believe that they were winning the game, and that I think Eden Hazard had gone down, and Jose felt that he was just trying to waste time, get the clock to run down so that they could see out the win. And of course, if we were to go back 10 years previously, a manager telling off a female member of staff, it wouldn't have meant anything at all. It's run of the mill. She's gone onto the pitch without sort of her senior member of staff say so, without his recommendation, without discussing it first. And because she's done that, he has reprimanded her, told her off, told her that she shouldn't have done that, told her that she should have read the situation better, etc., etc. And it wasn't long after that Jose Mourinho was out of a job at Chelsea, because in terms of the public eye and the media pushing it to be something that it definitely was not, that was the end of Jose Mourinho's tenure at Chelsea. We then move on to Manchester United, and there are rumours that he's fallen out with staff behind the scenes, and then not long after that, he's gone again. Tottenham, the same thing. Rumours that players had fallen out with him, staff had fallen out with him behind the scenes, and he was gone again. And now we're at Roma. And there's no talk of anything that happened behind the scenes. But what there is he goes into a Roma, they overperform, he wins them their first European trophy, he gets them into another European final, then they go for a patch of form that's considered quite poor, won 1 in 6 games, and he's out the door. And he's out the door 6 months before his contract was due to end anyway. Jose Mourinho is a genius level manager, right? And I'm sure that there'll be people watching this, and maybe they're in the comments saying that clearly he can't adapt to the modern day style of football, and these people are just idiots. Because if you don't think that Jose Mourinho, with the players at his disposal, could play possession-based football after coming up with some of the most genius tactical plans that football has ever seen. If you don't think he could play possession football and train a team to do that, you're dumb. You are dumb. I'm just going to call you out for it. You are dumb if you think that football has moved past Jose Mourinho. Football today, in terms of what happens on the pitch, is the same as what was happening 20 years ago. Right? If you don't think that there were possession teams 20 years ago, then you just don't have an education in football. And you need to get one. Desperately need to get one. The issue of Jose Mourinho is one of the big issues that we have in society. 20 years ago, if you were a manager who got results, it didn't matter if you fell out with people. It didn't matter that you didn't get on with people. It didn't matter if you didn't fit in with the crowd. It didn't matter if you held certain beliefs about certain things. None of those things mattered. None of them. There was no HR department. There was no pre-employment trading. There was no inclusivity, diversity. None of that stuff. None of that stuff existed. What mattered was, if you were a good salesman, how much do you sell? If you don't sell enough to justify us keeping you, you go. If you're a guy and we all think that you're a twat, but you make 100 grand for us, we don't care that you're a twat. Go and make the 100 grand. We want the money. Society is failing because talent is no longer acknowledged. It's no longer recognized. It's no longer rewarded. You must have experienced this before. You could be the hardest working guy at your job. You could be the guy that does the most overtime. You know, you could be the guy that digs everybody out of the shit every single time. But if you was to share that one opinion that you know in your mind that nobody else is going to like, you know you'd be in the office so quickly. You know it. And this is exactly what happens with Jose Mourinho. And we know this because Jose Mourinho is not the guy to keep his mouth shut. Jose Mourinho is the guy who's going to tell you what he believes. And if you don't like it, tough shit. But because of that, he gets given marching orders a hell of a lot sooner than anybody else does. In fact, he gets given marching orders so early that it's almost like the team that he's managing, the club that he's a part of, is just looking for a reason to get rid of him. Outside of, oh, he said this, it becomes a conscious decision in the minds of the board, the director of football, whoever it is who makes that decision. The next mistake, the next public mistake that he makes, he's gone. Which includes, if we go on a run of 5 games and we don't pick up points, he's gone. Where other managers, let's say managers who don't come out, who don't rock the boat, who don't have those opinions, they could be given all season. They could get the club relegated. And they would still likely be in a good chance of keeping their job. And it's really sad to see that. It's really sad to see that encroaching football, because football's the place that we go to escape from the stupidity of society. We go to football to escape politics. We go to football to escape the worries and the issues that we have about the world. And there are a hell of a lot of people out there who spend fortunes and fortunes, money that they probably should not be spending to support the club that they love, to watch the game that they enjoy, to have that sort of tribalistic pride about them that Manchester is better than London this week. That's what we love about football. That's what we used to love about movies until it encroached on that. And now it is encroached on football, and it has been doing slowly and steadily over the course of the last 10 to 15 years. And Jose Mourinho's sacking at Roma, his sacking at Tottenham, his sacking at Chelsea and Manchester United is a perfect reflection of just how far society has fallen. If you like this video, don't forget to like, share and subscribe. Comment down below what you think about what I've said about the degradation of society and how Jose Mourinho's sacking at multiple clubs is a representation of this. Comment down below and have a great day.